So on my quest to catch up on all the tags I was tagged in months ago, here's the book snack tag in which, for which I was tagged by Criminally. So his video will be linked below. I'm sorry for the delay, but better late than never. Prompt number 1 is sweet snacks. The chocolate chip cookie of books. Pick a book that is warm-hearted, uplifting, and made you less cynical about the world. Before the coffee gets cold. It's a story about this little coffee shop in Japan that has this magical power where if you sit in a specific spot, you can travel through time while your coffee is hot. And you follow these 4 women, and each of them have a different reason for wanting to go through time, where, you know, like grief, the possibility of saying something you wish you had said. It's a really just heartwarming book. It's easy to read. I would recommend it to anyone, and it's very well written. Prompt number 2 is salty snacks, inherently craveable. Pick a book or series that you couldn't stop reading or reaching for. And that one is going to be Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. That book is a creepypasta. I don't want to say too much because I have a book review coming up literally in my next video. But yeah, I couldn't stop picking it up. I just have rarely felt that need. You know when you're reading and you have to stop because there's like, I don't know, you get to work or whatever, like you literally have to stop. And I've rarely felt this craving of like one more chapter, one more line, one more paragraph, whatever. Like I couldn't put it down. I didn't want it to stop. I have stuff to say about the book. Like it wasn't perfect, but I always wanted to know more. Like what was next, what was gonna happen. In that regards, it was really good. Prompt number 3 is cheesy. Like Cheeto dust, you can't escape the cheese. Pick a book that you love because of it in spite of its cheesiness. Okay. Y'all know I don't do cheesiness, but La Chambre des Merveilles, or The Book of Wonders by Julien Sandrel, also a heartwarming book. So La Chambre des Merveilles is about this kid, a mother and her kid, and in the first chapter, her kid has this car accident or skateboard accident, whatever, and he ends up in a coma, and the mother finds his Book of Wonders, which is basically a bucket list book it's a bucket list in the format of a book, basically. And so she decides that while she doesn't know if he's going to survive or come out of his coma or anything, she's going to honor his life by doing all the things in his Book of Wonders. And it's really cool because there are things that a 12-year-old would want to do, and the mom is like in her 40s, so she's kind of it's a really fun book, and it does have cheesy moments. Not so much during the book, maybe a little bit, but the cheesiness that murdered the book to me was the last chapter. I can't remember if it's the last, the epilogue. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's beyond cheesy, like it's just bad. But if you want to read the book, I would recommend you read because the actual book was good. Just don't read the epilogue. If you're gonna read the book, don't read the epilogue. It's gonna ruin the whole thing. It's so bad. All right, editing Celeste here. I forgot to do one of the prompts. Oopsie. Okay. So prompt number 4 was deep fried. You bit too soon into the hot batter and got burned. Pick a book that hurt to read. Well, I have many to choose from, but I'm gonna pick Journey into the End of the Night, by Louis-Ferdinand Céline. Okay, so this book is too long, and it is a semi-autobiographical historical fiction where the main character, secretly Céline himself, is an asshole. It basically depicts kind of Céline's life and how he at one point was a soldier and then like left for Africa to sell weapons, when he was supposed to be at war. Well, I don't, it just hurt to read, man. I do not recommend that book. Sorry to anyone who liked it. I mean, I guess it's a classic, sort of. It also definitely hurt that we had to read it for school and had to study every little thing about it. Prompt number 5 is ice cold. Sometimes the snack you want to read can only come from the deep freezer. Pick a book that transports you to a cold place. For that one, I'm gonna go with This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. And I buddy read it with Mr. Morningstar, oh my gosh, like a year and a half ago already. This Thing Between Us is a really good horror book. It takes place like the main part in California. So obviously Californian winter is, like Southern California anyway, is not my definition of winter. But a part of it takes place in Colorado, and Colorado winter is no joke, and that is what I think of when I think of winter. Plus, we buddy read it in the winter time, so. Prompt number 6 is sour. Some things are too sour to keep a straight face. Pick a book that made you make faces while you were reading. Okay, for this one, I'm gonna pick Chinese Cinderella by Adeline Yen Ma. This is a memoir of Adeline Yen Ma's experience growing up in 50s China, of like post-World War II, when there's a lot of political turmoil. Also, just her being the youngest of her family, and she's a girl, and she has a stepmother, and there are so many times when like just something shitty would happen to her for the dumbest reason. Like, you know when you read traumatic childhood stories and you're just like, yeah, that's pretty much my face when I read this book the whole time. But it is incredible. I can only recommend you read this book. If you're like me, you will be making faces at Adeline's brothers. All right, prompt number 7, the healthy snack. You picked this up because it was good for you. Pick up a book that you read to improve yourself in some way. And for that one, I'm gonna go with The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. The book is about PTSD and its evolution during life through time. And it's very interesting because it is written as, I think, it's not like a full-on science book, but it does cite studies and it gives a very scientific perspective and medical perspective on the brain. It incorporates a lot of day-to-day things you can do and like real solutions for science noobs, like maybe you and me. I don't know if you are, but I am. And it's an excellent book. I absolutely recommend it to anyone. And last but not least is Juicy, like an orange or a watermelon. Some snacks have plenty of pieces to share. Pick up a book that is profoundly shareable, a book you want others to read. Ooh, actually, I know. I would absolutely recommend Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo. It's incredible. So it's about this first-person account of, it's fictional, but it's a first-person account of this guy who was a soldier during World War I. He finds out that he was blown up by a landmine and ended up in the hospital. This is not a spoiler, don't worry, but he kind of rediscovers his body as a disabled person. It's beautifully written and the writing is pretty accessible, I think, to most readers' styles. And it's a fairly short book. I think not short, but it's a good length, maybe 200 pages, I want to say. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the tag. Let me know if you read any of the books. Like the video if you did, subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time. Bye!